Last week I published a state of the collection video where I ranked all the watches in my collection. This was the winner, and today you'll find out all the reasons why. I must admit I feel a little nervous about doing this review. Not because I'm afraid to speak my mind, but quite the contrary, I'm afraid I won't be able to do this watch justice. Sure, I can tell you all about it, but I don't know if my video making skills will be good enough to capture the essence of a watch you need to see and hold up close to gauge its quality. I found it on the pre-owned market and I was drawn in by its price rather than the watch itself. Getting a $600 timepiece for about half its MSRP sounded like a safe investment, a probable buy to review to sale type of deal I have to make to keep this channel afloat until manufacturers see the sense in sending me watches to review. Of course, prior to meeting the seller, I watched a few rave reviews from established YouTubers, but nothing prepared me for handling the watch for the first time. I said it in my SOTC video I posted last week. This watch is chocolate. Its case is so well finished it makes me worry it will melt should I keep it in my hand for too long. I've handled watches 10 times more expensive, but this was the first time I experienced this sensation. Could it be the 904L stainless steel? Rolex might claim to have chosen this material for all their steel watches because of its superior resistance to corrosion and its hypoallergenic properties, but I'm pretty sure the reason why's decided to carve their cases out of this specific alloy is just because it allowed them to push the mirror polishing up to 11. The measurements of the case are quite deceptive. Placing it to the other watch in my collection, the AD9, the diver seems a lot smaller despite its identical 41mm diameter and looks closer to the 40mm Agva. Since I already picked up the Henry Archer diver, I'm curious about your opinion. Is it just me, or does the 11.5mm Thai watch looks thinner than its 10.5mm Danish counterpart? What sorcery is this? But let's put the Agva aside for a moment, as we'll need it again later, and beyond the cold measurements, let's focus on why AD8's case is a work of art. A chamfer's goal is to eliminate sharp angles by replacing them with smooth, polished, less severe slopes. Some watchmakers use this process to alternate between the brushed top and flanks, and the result is a sliver of sunshine that brightens up the case. Not wise. What the Thai microbrand decided to do was to bevel so deep that the chamfer became a third volume, thus creating the illusion of a much thinner watch. Not only is the upper chamfer very aggressive, but the way it widens towards the end of the lugs creates a very distinct shape. The chamfer delimiting the flanks and the case back is less aggressive, but plays an even more important role in deceiving the eye as it buries the watch in the wrist. Rotating the watch, we get to see a well-proportioned signed but unspectacular crown. It's well integrated and the action is nothing less than one can expect when looking at the overall package, so not much to talk about here. What's worth mentioning though is the great attention to detail evident in setting the time. This is the only date watch that I have handled that changes the date precisely at 2 minutes past midnight. add an accuracy of -3 seconds a day from the custom rotor Miyota 9015 movement, and I say it's obvious that Wise QC is on par with any company producing watches 10 times more expensive. The hands are made of silver and are as original as the rest of the watch. Size is perfect, and the hour hand shows there's more to design than arrows, Mercedes symbols, and snowflakes. The multifaceted applied markers are silver made as well, filled to the brim with C3 lume, and their angles ensure legibility and turn them into bling generators. The date is well integrated, legible, and doesn't break the well-crafted balance of the watch. And we've arrived at the dial. There are two main elements that combine to create one of the best made dynamic designs I've ever seen. On one hand, the extreme sunburst takes the turquoise through a couple of gradients until it turns really dark near the grey chapter ring. The second element is where the magic lies, as studying it closer we realize those darker shades of blue are nothing more than shadows cast by the hundreds of broken lines that make up the three spiral-shaped patterns, which to me look like a futuristic terraced structure made of steel and glass. Returning to the chapter ring, I believe in choosing a dark grey. The Thai watchmakers did a very clever thing, as it breaks the continuity the dark outer side of the dial would have received from the black sapphire bezel. The white second track, punctuated by dots, is modern and makes telling the time very precise. I am somewhat surprised the boxed sapphire does not create any distortions of the chapter ring. Speaking of the crystal and its lack of distortions, completely unexpected for a boxed sapphire, it serves the same purpose as the chapter ring, isolating the bezel from the dial, as it creates a visible ring no other crystal shape could have done. This separation on all planes between the dial and the bezel might be key in shaving that couple of millimeters off the perceived diameter of the watch. The piano black bezel looks luxurious, especially as the etching of the numerals and the consistent application of BGW9 provides the perfect contrast to enrich its shine. Speaking of the bezel, this is where the Adamascus AD8, particularly this blue variant, loses a couple of points on its way to a perfect score. One thing that is shared with the other variants is the very stiff action of the zirconia ceramic bezel. The grip is good thanks to the tire track style grooving, the sound is great, and the backplay is non-existent, but turning it requires really strong fingers. The second negative, in my opinion, is having mismatched lume between the bezel and the markers. This is a particularity of this colorway, and the reasoning behind it escapes me. The good news is that in low visibility, the difference is almost unnoticeable, but during the bright daylight, the difference between the shiny white of the bezel markings and the ivory of the minute markers and hands is visible. Since I keep mentioning the lume, let's see how this watch performs in pitch black. Two of the YouTube reviewers that covered this watch were Dave and Shane from Just the Watch and Relative Time respectively. Their affinity for long-lasting lume is well documented, and both have ranked the AD8 at the top of their lists. The intensity of the fully charged glow displayed by this watch is truly awe-inspiring, and its endurance is nothing short of astonishing. This lume won't just last a full night, it will last a 600-hour polar night. But then, given the overall quality of this watch, should we be surprised? There are 9 variants of the AD8 available on Wise's website, including a couple of bronze models, and all come in the same outstanding presentation box. Included are a strap changing tool, a polishing cloth, and 2 straps of premium quality, a buttery leather, and this fantastically supple FKM. No bracelet, though one you can be purchased on their website. However, given I'm a tinkerer, when doing the review of the Aqua, not pleased with how it sat on his bracelet, I glanced at the FKM strap and I thought, what if? I then took the AD8, looked at the Aqua bracelet and asked myself the same, what if? 1 minute later, just as the protagonists of the World Cup final changed shirts, the 2 watches saw what life looks like in each other's shoes. I believe I got really lucky, as the Aqua looks better on Wise's FKM strap, while the Henry Archer Beads of Rice bracelet dresses up the AD8. What do you think? In a market where established brands seem to be growing lazier and more expensive, the Wise Adamascus AD8 emerges as a refreshing breath of fresh air. It defies the status quo and challenges our preconceived notions of value, providing that microbrands are the true innovators in the watch industry. With its originality, impeccable craftsmanship, and use of high-quality materials, the AD8 exemplifies the spirit of what a microbrand can achieve. So, the next time you're on the hunt for a timepiece that offers exceptional value, I urge you to consider giving microbrands a chance. You may just stumble upon a hidden treasure that surpasses your expectations and revolutionizes your perception of watch collecting. For me, the Wise Adamascus AD8 has unequivocally earned its place as the crowning jewel of my collection, serving as a testament to the boundless possibilities that exist beyond the realm of established brands.